My name is Autumn Mitchell. I am a member of CWA Local 2108.
And you're here at the convention. There are thousands of other delegates, and there are many issues facing working people here and around the world. What are some of your concerns about issues that need to be addressed?
Right now, I think one of the main issues that needs to be addressed is the fact that there isn't any sort of action being taken on behalf of our union to address the genocide happening in Gaza. I think that we are uniquely positioned to be in support of workers as a union, and it's really important that we show up for workers in Palestine and show up for workers internationally.
And what should the union be saying about this issue? What can the union do about this issue?
I think that first we can start trying to pass resolutions to addressing this issue as a democratic organization. We could start there. I mean, baby steps, right? I think that we can pool ourselves collectively to push back against companies who are funding war in Gaza and funding genocide in Gaza. I personally am somebody who works in the tech industry, and there's quite a lot of funding for weapons of war that workers don't have to be compliant with. We don't have to be okay with that. We can take a stand and address that.
And tech workers have organized Tech Workers Against Apartheid.
That's right.
And they're very angry about the fact that their labor is going to something that they feel is wrong.
Yes.
What's been going on with that, and why are tech workers getting organized around that?
So, as an example, No Azure for Apartheid is an organization of people working within Microsoft who have had enough of the Azure suite being utilized for funding genocide in Gaza. Essentially what's happening is people within Microsoft are getting together and doing demonstrations and taking a stand and sending emails and trying to educate people on how the labor that we're contributing to Microsoft and to Azure is directly assisting in a humanitarian crisis.
And also the government is now collaborating with these companies around spying on Palestinians, and also the right of privacy for Americans. Is that a concern you have?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And I think a lot of tech companies in particular consider themselves to be advocates for privacy, but if history is any indicator, we all know how that tends to go when you let, private sector decide how to run things and it's not regulated. It tends to go south.
And IBM during the First World War, before it was actually working with Germany in the concentration camps, providing technical ability.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, we need to learn from history. Right, folks? So talking about it, getting involved, trying to pass resolution. I mean, we are more than capable of doing it. We've been advocating for workers for a very, very long time, and this is no exception.
And if people want to get in touch with your group, how do they do that?
You can go to our website. You can go to, it's just Google No Azure for Apartheid. You go to our website, and there's a little contact form.
So you're a tech worker. A lot of tech workers are starting to organize. How is that going, and how do you organize, and what are the issues?
It's going really well. We didn't have hardly anybody organized within Code CWA, which is the campaign to organize digital employees in CWA. But now we've got, I want to say 6,000 people, maybe more, over the last 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's taken off. And some of the issues that we're organizing around are issues like AI, automation, taking over jobs. We have pretty horrific mass layoffs being like a constant sort of systemic issue in tech. And then, of course, there's just pay inequity and DEI being absolved in these different companies. Remote work is an issue. All kinds of things that we're getting organized around.
And AI, I know I'm in San Francisco, and a lot of money is going into AI. They're using autonomous cars. They want to get rid of all the truck drivers. I mean, it seems like a lot of that investment, billions, is so they can get rid of workers. Are you concerned about how it's going to be used in tech to get rid of workers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that we're already seeing it right now. We're seeing it. The kinds of jobs that classically have been hit really hard with things like automation, so like call center workers. I work in quality assurance. There's some like automated testing that could potentially be impacted by AI. Those are jobs. Those are jobs that are under threat. I think probably more so than ever when it comes to machine learning and automation. Writers, artists, right? I work in video games, so we have people who are artists and quest designers and writers, and of course, voice actors are also part of the mix. And yeah, AI is threatening every single one of those positions.
And what does that mean for the future of working people? Because I know Goldman Sachs did a study. They said 350 million workers may lose their jobs. I mean, it seems like a very dire situation as they introduce it.
I agree. I do think that the future, what the future holds, if we don't do anything at all, it doesn't look very good. I think some things that we can do are organize collectively over the issue of AI and take hard stances with our local representatives and say, hey, let's get some legislation out there that's backed up by all of us over the issue of AI, get some regulation going. I mean, unions, we are the face of, worker regulation. And I think that the need for legislation to put protections around workers concerning AI and just regular people, right, yesterday. It needed to happen yesterday, but it's never too late to start.
And if a tech worker wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You can go to the Code CWA website. I always forget the website names off the top of my dome.
If you put it in, you'll get it.
Yeah, if you go into your browser and you type CODECWA.org. Go to the website, and then there's a contact us, and you can contact us.
Great. Well, thank you. It sounds like a lot of tech workers are getting interested in the union.
It's a lot. There's a lot to love, but there's a lot to fix.
My name is Jessie Lease. I am on the bargaining committee for the ZeniMax Workers United, CWA, and I have been a QA tester for ZeniMax Media for almost 3 years now.
And what is that like, and why did you decide to get involved with the union?
So it's been a really cool process, seeing everything that we're doing with the union blossoming. And at the very beginning, I knew just right away that it was the right thing to do, because our employers like to isolate us and they like to silo us away from each other. So that we don't know the potential that we have together, and so that we don't think about how bad we're being exploited. And I believe that is true across the board in all contexts. I don't think that it's true to just one in particular industry. So it's been like right away. I knew that we need to stand together and work on collective action so that we can get what we need industry-wide. There's a lot of changes that need to happen in gaming and in tech and for workers in all industries. And we can't
What are some of those changes that you feel are necessary a union would bring about?
The tech industry has a tendency to push new concepts onto workers without the time for workers to set those precedents themselves. A lot of big topics for us as video game workers are AI, outsourcing, the way that layoffs are set for workers. These are things that we do not want to see the precedent set for without our involvement.
The worker input. You're doing the work, aren't you?
Yeah. You have to have worker input. You have to have the people doing the work involved in the decision making. And the reality of the situation is these new technologies, AI in particular, coming in, the employer is in a position where they can choose how much that influences our ability to do our job. We need to get ahead of that as workers, and we need to make sure that we're on the same page about the direction that we need to go. So I encourage everyone to find their individual pockets of community organizing, and then also look at the broader picture of organizing. We have direct join unionism in the form of United Video Game Workers. And there's methods for us to connect with people who care about the labor movement on a broader scale and also in your individual workplace. So both sides need to be hit.
And you're wearing a keffiyeh, and what does that mean for you in this period?
This is a symbol of resistance to me, and it is a reminder that there are people that need our solidarity in every single way that we're able to give it. And the smallest thing that I can do is be a reminder for the people that see me visually that something needs to change. Palestine needs to be free.
And the United States, we don't even have national health care here. They have national health care in Israel. Billions of dollars are going for wars around. I mean, it seems like crazy.
It's insane. And I think that there is a really unique grief with realizing the scope that my individual tax dollars are being used to fund the genocide of an entire group of people. And once you really are able to digest that fact, I don't think you are supposed to be the same person after that. I think that there is a transformation that takes place, and you learn to live under the context of Holocaust happening around you.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, and the question I've been asking myself is how do I continue to live in a way where I can still be content with my life under fascism and still also making the changes that need to be made. So, I think that trade unions and standing up for people in Palestine are some of the most tangible ways that us as American workers can be doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This genocide is a terrible thing, and you personally felt it and how it affected you. So why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that when we're talking about your normal duties that you have to show up for, when you start to take the time to educate yourself, something that I did is I read Omar Elakod's book, One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This. I highly recommend it. And after really taking in a lot of the media from Palestinian journalists and the constant barrage of the live stream genocide that we're seeing take place, it becomes impossible to work. It becomes impossible to do normal things because how can you continue contributing to capitalism when you know that you're behind this, you're funding this when your labor is being used for these nefarious purposes. You can't work the same way. And it was hard for me to still show up to my 9-to-5 job with the same level of gusto for completing my daily tasks because you know the pipeline at that point in time. I was still showing up to my union meetings with the same level of gusto because you can see the connections there between community and organizing and how we're able to raise awareness on a larger scale for everything human rights related when we're doing that. But normal work tasks, how do you continue to function? How do you continue to function when entire bloodlines are being decimated before our eyes? And it's intentional.
And the union should do something about this?
Yes, the union, CWA needs to have really explicit stances, I believe, about Palestine, and we need to stand with the people of the world when they're suffering. We have Palestinian unions that are calling on us to use our language to make explicit stances, and we need to follow through and do the hard thing and stand in solidarity. Solidarity is not supposed to be easy.
One of the important issues in this world technology is digital organizing.
Yes.
What the issues are, how to organize, how it can be used against you, and the problems with it. So maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So digital organizing is very much a double-edged sword. When we're talking about the online platforms like Discord, even sometimes the way that we organize with Zoom meetings, it can be, there's good and there's bad. In the good ways, you can have your entire group, your entire populace of people that you want to organize together, just hit a few buttons and you get to ping the entire group. That's very convenient, that's very easy. Send a message and it goes to everyone's phones immediately if you have it set up that way. We love tools that allow for instantaneous communication. However, there's also the added obstacle of everyone is a name and they're an avatar and they're words on a screen, and that is the way that you're interacting with them. That is fundamentally not human, and it allows us to view people like our coworkers, like our fellow comrades in organizing, as just avatars on a screen. And sometimes we discount our natural ability to appreciate those people's life experiences and to give them a sense of respect. It's hard to do that when you are just seeing a name and then whatever symbol they've chosen as their profile picture, right? You have to have a really focused desire to maintain a human connection with everyone that you are trying to organize on a digital platform. And that starts with one-on-one connections. If you are able to get a really good handle on your method of communicating one-on-one, then all of the digital tools that allow you to mass ping people, allow you to get messages out quickly, they're just icing on the cake. But your structure, your foundation, it always has to be individual connections with people, and as human as you can make them. If that means that you're able to go to those people's houses and, go on a walk together and talk about the issues at hand that are needed for organizing, do that. That is the level of gusto that we need right now for the labor movement and activism at large. If you can't do that, call them. If you can't do that, text them. But making those connections personal, understanding people before you try to change their mind on anything is paramount.
But it seems like the development of this technology, like people just text, there's no voices. People don't answer their phones. I mean,
right.
Talking to somebody, not knowing who they really are, and that kind of thing. Is that?
Yes, right, exactly. That's the biggest problem that we have is you will never be able to get the full context of someone's tone and someone's motive, the way that they really feel about something by just a couple sentences typed out. We can't organize on a grand scale that way. It definitely helps, right? It's a tool that you can use, but don't allow the tools that we can use individually to become the foundational structure of organizing. We still have to do that with our might.
And building a movement is of people to people, isn't that
Always.
really?
Always, yes. We have to prioritize those individual connections, and to me that doesn't mean that I'm having 60 hours worth of conversations about how the labor movement is progressing in the United States every week. That means that at least 40 of those hours I'm talking to my friends about what their values are, what their needs are in this world. You can't understand how to create community and how to help people if you don't know who you're trying to create community with and who you're trying to help. It's important to start there.
It's an impossibility.
Yes, exactly. It's impossible. It's impossible to organize without connection.